Krampus is a new Christmas/horror film that's about the legend of Krampus, which is basically the opposite of St. Nicholas, Santa Claus. Instead of Santa Claus bringing you presents, Krampus comes to kill you, and all that fun stuff. Basically, it follows around this boy and his family. Adam Scott and Toni Collette are his parents, and basically he's not very happy. The family, they don't really get along too much, and in rage, he just rips up his letter to Santa. He's just done with it, and because of that, a big snowstorm comes in, and Krampus has come to town. Now, I was actually really looking forward to this movie because the trailer was just so cool. I had actually never heard of this legend Krampus, so when I saw the trailer, I was like, what is this, Krampus? What's this about? It's got Adam Scott in it, and I watched the trailer and I was like, wow, this looks really good. So going into this movie, I was really excited for it, and walking out of this movie, I actually had a really fun time with it, though it was a little bit disappointing. I was hoping that it could have been like one of this year's best horror films, but unfortunately, it was a fun horror film. I still liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. It's just, it could have been a lot better. The acting in this movie is very good. I don't think anyone does a bad job at all. The kid who plays the main son in the movie, I thought he did pretty good, considering how some kid actors these days aren't very good. I thought he was very good. And his dad, Adam Scott, I thought he was very good. I like Adam Scott, so seeing him in this movie not play a kind of a douche character, that was pretty cool to see, because Adam Scott is a cool person, I think. Toni Collette played his mom, and I thought she was very good. Maybe she was the best out of anyone in this whole movie, maybe. David Koechner, who plays Champ in Anchorman, he was in this movie, and I thought he was hilarious. Basically plays the drunk uncle character. I thought he did very good. He always made me laugh. And that's a big thing about this movie. It is a horror comedy. It does have some moments that are trying to make you freaked out, but at the same time, you should probably laugh at it too, because that's what it's intended. Another character that was great, Bertha from 2.5 Men, she plays the aunt. I thought she was very good. Definitely had a lot of her charm from the 2.5 Men show when 2.5 Men was kinda good. She was just one of the best characters in this whole movie based off of how much she made me laugh at some parts. She was very good. I don't think anyone gives a bad performance, as I said. However, I do think there are some poor characters in this movie, and a lot of it has to do with how rushed this movie feels. That's one of my main complaints with Krampus, is that it felt very rushed. There isn't really enough time to delve into these characters before Krampus actually comes, because we get one quick introduction scene where they're all, hey, look, we're here for Christmas, isn't that great, we're all in the house. Then they have a dinner scene, something dramatic happens, and then Krampus is coming. And the dinner scene isn't really that long or anything. It scratches the surface of delving into some of these characters. I think if they just took a little bit more time at the beginning to kind of just show off these characters some more, to kind of show off their characters and all that, then I think it would have worked out fine. And it really does affect how you do care for the characters. You will care for a couple characters like Adam Scott and Toni Collette and the young kid, but for example, one of the characters you probably won't care about is the sister to the young boy. There's a scene where something happens to her kind of early, and you don't really care because they never really go deep with her character. Basically, hey, she's a sister, she's got a boyfriend, and she's a, she likes to stay in her room a lot in that one scene. What else do we know about her exactly? So yeah, there are a couple characters like that in this movie, so when stuff happens to them, you're like, oh, ew, I'm so glad I'm not you right now. Instead of feeling like, oh no, why not you? But you should feel that way for all the characters. You shouldn't just be like, oh, it sucks to be you right now. It sucks to be you. But it's not just the characters the rushness feeling of this movie has effect on. It's also kind of affecting the way the climax kind of starts. For me, this just felt really weird. Like, the climax automatically kind of started at one point. I was like, oh wait, we're already like at the last 20 minutes of the movie already? Oh, okay. And just some ways things started to wrap up were just kind of like rushed feeling, and it just felt too soon. It was like, I think this movie's only an hour and a half, so maybe if you just took a couple more minutes to show some stuff off so it didn't feel too rushed. However, the last 3 minutes of the movie, I love that part. Like, the climax felt a bit rushed, but I still had fun with it. The last 3 minutes, I love that part. At first I was like, they're not doing this, are they? But they didn't. It was actually a good ending. I liked it. And I guess I should talk about Krampus soon. A lot of people will complain that he's not in the movie enough. That didn't bother me that much because, to be honest, Krampus probably wouldn't be the most interesting protagonist if he was the main one. Basically what he does is crawl around and has a couple toys that will kill you. Like, you can't just have him be the main guy and just have him be the feature. So there are a couple minions that take more of the spotlight away from Krampus, but I was fine with that because, to be honest, I saw Krampus enough, and that was great. The minions in this movie, I really like them. There's an entire sequence dedicated to them, and I really enjoyed it. Like, oh, so good. And what I loved about it is that it's all practical. It's not CGI or anything like that. They did have to use CGI when they were showing off some evil gingerbread men, but that's understandable because you can't have, like, animatronic or puppet gingerbread men trying to kill people. It would take, like, a lot of money from their very small budget to do so they probably couldn't do that. But they have this clown worm thing and a teddy bear that's like, ooh, I liked it. I like how much practical stuff they use. Even Krampus, they do use CGI for him once, and that's just when they're showing him like jump from roof to house, but for the rest of it, he is practical, and that is some cool stuff. If I had to complain about one other thing, it's just, I wish this movie was more scary than actually funny or fun, and I get the whole purpose is have fun, it's a horror comedy, and that's great. I laughed a lot, so the comedy works, and I was having fun, so the fun aspect works. It's just, I wish I would have been scared more. I was expecting to be really scared because Krampus is a guy that'll come after you for being naughty. This is what happens when you're on the naughty list. But I wasn't really scared, so I think if they just touched up on more of the scares of the movie, then it would have been a really good horror comedy fun movie. But in the end, I had a fun time with Krampus, and I'm hoping that you guys give it a chance and maybe you'll like it. I think a lot of people are gonna hate on it because a lot of people are kind of hating on it, but maybe give it a chance. Maybe you'll enjoy it like I did. I'm gonna give Krampus a B. I think if they just touched up on the pacing a bit, make it not feel so rushed, make it a little bit more scary, and work on the characters, I think this movie would have been a really great horror film. But if you saw Krampus, leave in the comments below what you thought of it, and I'm gonna have a review for Spotlight in a bit, which is way better than Krampus. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.